Want to see these videos 5 days early and gain access to other exclusive perks? Then head on over to my Patreon in the description. Every contribution means the world to me. Crash Bandicoot, everyone's favourite platforming marsupial and a staple character to Sony's first PlayStation in the 90s. While his reputation following the turn of the millennium was a bit up and down, to say the least, mostly down, his revitalization with the Insane Trilogy remake of the original games, the remake of Crash Team Racing, and the officially numbered 4th game, not counting Wrath of Cortex's name in Japan, it's no doubt clear as day that Crash is back in the mainstream media, and even has a 5th game in the works with Oh. Well, that triumphant return didn't last long. I've been a Crash Bandicoot fan for a long time. In fact, this year marks 10 years since I saw Some Call Me Johnny's review of the original trilogy back in 2014. That made me want to properly try out these games for the first time, and boy am I glad I did. These games are great, they're funny, beautiful to look at in terms of PS1 standards, and so satisfying to 100% with all the precise platforming and tricky obstacles that test your reflexes and intuition on how you approach levels in platformers. They're surprisingly complex in their level layouts and problem solving. Neither of these games are perfect, they are indeed flawed, very flawed in relation to the first game, but I love them, most of them, to bits. Also, they have absolutely banging soundtracks, if you couldn't tell by the amount of times I've used it in my previous videos. But there's always been one thing that's bugged me about one of these games that I've never seen anyone talk about until now, and that relates to the third game, Crash Bandicoot Warped. If you play this game from start to finish as casually as possible, collecting all 25 crystals, beating all the bosses to get the power-ups, and only going after the gems within your grasp at that point in the game, once you're done with the final boss against Uka Uka and Dr. Neo Cortex, you are shown the bad ending, where Uka Uka tells you that while you stop them from getting the crystals, you haven't got all of the gems.
It's not over, Bandicoot. There are still the gems. We still have a chance to triumph!
So, with the final power-up in tow, you return to the warp room after the credits and begin dashing your way throughout the previous levels in the new playstyle introduced in this game, the Time Trials, collecting various time relics that, once you collect enough, allow you access to 5 secret levels in the warp room, 3 of which are completely new levels with their own gems and relics to collect, and the remaining are secret entrances to old levels that contribute to the gem collecting you were unable to do before. The aforementioned final power-up, the Crash Dash, is an important game mechanic that allows you to comfortably grab the relics, the difficulty levels going up from Sapphire to Gold and then Platinum, so long as you play the stage well enough to know where to use Aku Aku crates to take hits, timing your jumps, spinning, slides and slide jumps, cutting corners, enemy placements and patterns, etc. One would think that the Crash Dash is essential to the relics that are needed for 100% completion, and thus the bad ending cannot be skipped. However, you must also take into consideration the alternate/vehicle levels, specifically where Crash or his sister Coco play levels scuba diving, riding a motorbike, a jet ski or a tiger, and flying biplanes. These levels, while the gameplay may vary, still stick to the same goal of needing to collect a level's crystal and breaking every single box for a box gem. For the time relics though, because it's an entirely separate gameplay mechanic from how you control Crash on his own, you are excluded from using any of his power-ups, including the Crash Dash. Therefore, the times needed for getting a relic are much more feasible as they are designed around you using the vehicles at their base level, occasionally with dash mechanics already built into the controls. And because the time trials are available for you to attempt as soon as you've collected the level's crystal, hypothetically you may try these ones out of curiosity as they are, now, the easiest to grab. Once you collect 5 relics, which is doable with the amount of these kind of levels, to your shock you'll find the once secret platform now in the centre of the warp room that will take you to the secret levels because you have the necessary amount to attempt the first one, Ski Crazed. And that got me thinking, if it's possible to unlock the secret warp room before the final boss, could it be possible to get the relics in the other regular levels to unlock the secret ones for 100% completion? It's not like they locked the secret levels away until you're forced to get the bad ending, they're right there. Could it be that all the other relics, and by extension all of the gems in this game, are possible to obtain before fighting Cortex? With no Crash Dash whatsoever? So, in just less than 3 days, I tried it. I tried getting the required relics and therefore every single gem in Crash Bandicoot 3 without the Crash Dash before the first encounter with Cortex. Straight away, I knew I wasn't going to get every relic. Getting the last crystal in the last stage of the game automatically locks you into fighting Cortex, preventing you from revisiting that level to get the relic until you beat him. So I knew I wasn't going to get the hidden gem from Coco you unlock by getting every single gold relic in the game. But at the very least, I knew I could get all of the official gems that are tallied up. The 37 clear gems obtained by either breaking every box in a stage, finding them on hidden pathways, or other methods depending on the level, the 5 coloured gems that become gem platforms in other levels for secret routes, and the 2 super secret clear gems, each obtained from secret levels that are only accessible within other levels. Getting 44 gems, all without the crash dash. And before we begin, as this is mainly a time relic based challenge, I won't waste too much time talking about the challenge of playing the stages for the gems, as that's just related to playing the stage normally. If any level has something worth talking about with the gem collecting, or my personal experience, then I'll spend some time talking about it, but I want to keep this mostly on the time trials as I go over my journey from level to level. Trust me, I'm saving a lot of time with this method, though as you can see from the length of the video, I'm still wasting a large amount of time. So, let's begin.
Press start to begin.
Level 1, Toad Village. Got the crystal and the box gem all in one go, no issue whatsoever, and then came the time trial. As expected, level 1 is one of the easiest levels to get the relic on, even without the crash dash, and this was thanks to me using the slide spin jump. By spinning as you do a slide jump, not only is the steering where you want to land much looser than a normal slide jump, giving you more accuracy, but if you time the spin just right, you'll also jump higher, allowing you to take shortcuts over obstacles with ease. Combine that with how the stage itself is a linear road with walls that you can stand and slide on to really cut those corners, and within about 2 tries, the relic is yours. Hell, time it just right and you'll get a gold relic like I did. So here's something fascinating. So, loaded up Crash Bandicoot 3. This is obviously like the first level of the game, and this is... I didn't use the crash dash for this, by the way, but I managed to get the sapphire relic. All I did was slide, and I was only 2 seconds away from getting a gold relic. This was when I decided to set a goal for myself. When I go for a relic at a stage, I would attempt to get a gold relic if it seemed doable with the bare essentials, or if I came back with later power-ups like the double jump or the Death Tornado spin glide. Level 2. Our first alternate gameplay style, so once we get the level's gem and crystal, the relic is within our grasp. Not a complete walk in the park, mind you, as you do have to deal with the very floaty controls that come from diving underwater and knowing when to boost with the jet ski without running into an enemy or stage hazard, otherwise you'll break it and it will ruin your chance of getting a higher than sapphire relic. But I managed, mostly by spamming more missile shots than Lisa with the machine gun stuck on auto fire. Another gold relic in the bag. Level 3, Orient Express. Another alternate gameplay style, and this time it's our first vehicle level.
Yeah, this cat eats 48 miles to the gallon of milk.
Getting the crystal, gem and relic for this stage was all a walk in the park. It's another completely linear pathway that once you start using the dash is a breeze to speed through. It's a little tricky to aim at the time crates when you're going this fast, but nothing too taxing. Gold relic number 3. Level 4, Boneyard. Can't get the hidden gem here without getting the red gem in another level, so gotta come back for that. But the crystal and box gem were once again a breeze. Where the challenge now comes is from the time trial, where by this point I'd learned to just use the slide spin for keeping forward momentum without jumping all over the place, but doing that in a stage where the beginning and end have you running away from a triceratops towards the camera, not knowing where certain obstacles are, can be fidgety at points. You also have to make sure you don't get hit at all so you can activate the invincible Aku Aku mask to dash through this part of the level, where the grass would normally slow you down and it allows you to step on the lava to cut corners, should you mistime one of your slide jumps like I did several times. Luckily, because I did a test run of this level beforehand to see if this challenge was worth the damn in the first place, I did it in less than a few tries, but getting the gold relic was much harder than in Toad Village. Level 5, Making Waves. A vehicle level involving Coco on a jet ski in levels that honestly feels like the physics have a mind of their own. I know people like to complain about the buggered versions of these jet ski stages in the Insane Trilogy remake, and while I can agree those versions are a downgrade, they weren't exactly perfect in the original game either. So many times when I tried to be accurate with hitting boxes for either gem collecting or the time crates for the time trials, If you don't keep an eye on the physics of the waves that like to bounce you up and down like an annoying space hopper, there will be many times that you try to hit boxes on jump ramps or steer around the several bombs these stages love to spam at you, only for good old Lady Luck to deck you in the snoz. Thankfully, this being the first jet ski level, it's not the worst of them to play through. So I got the crystal and gem in no time at all, beat the first boss, Tiny Tiger, after the other levels were locked out, got the super belly flop power up for Crash in the regular levels, and went right back to get the gold relic in making waves. And with the 5 relics now in my possession, I can now unlock the first of the secret levels. Level 26, Ski Crazed. It's another jet ski level, only now, with this meant to be one of the last levels of the game, and as such, is much harder to play. Getting the relic for this level was irritating, once again because of the wave physics making me miss so many time crates, and so many goddamn bombs that it feels like I'm skiing through the remains of a sunken battleship. But this being another vehicle level, it's not that bad to get the relic. This time I attempted to get the time relic first, and got the sapphire relic on my first successful run, but managed to get myself up to a now 6th gold relic shortly after. Then, after getting the stage's box gem, I was on my way back to the main warp room when the graphics for the secret platform fucking disappeared right here. On top of getting to use this glitch to show off the majesty of Crash's slow haters gonna hate walk, when you jump back on, it gets even better.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
Level 6, Gee Whiz. Another medieval stage like Toad Village, and aside from messing around and making this one frog jump into the nitro crate, and attacking the wizards only to see them in their underwear, just to clarify that I am playing the PAL version of Crash 3. Woohoo! Regional difficulty! Not much to report on with getting the level's crystal, gem, or the time relic, as much like Toad Village, walking on the walls to cut corners and slide spinning at any and all points, I got gold relic number 7 on my second successful run. Said run also had this one instance where I stood on a nitro crate but didn't take damage. I'm still alive, I ain't gonna fucking question it. Level 7, Hang'em High. I couldn't get the yellow gem without unlocking the secret entrance with 10 relics, so I just went after the crystal, box gem and relic. Yeah, I know there's a glitch where you can get it early, but I was in a rush and didn't feel like it. Now, however, is where getting the relic without the crash dash starts to become an issue. Instead of the medieval levels where there's wide space to cut corners to make things easy, these Arabian levels have very narrow pathways with dozens of enemies in the way to make things harder. Swordsmen, genies on carpets, people carrying pots, and scorpions needing to be spun away when climbing on these monkey bars, which if you don't do at just the right time can mess up your run. Swapping between 3D and 2.5D gameplay consistently while making sure you don't get hit a single time in order to use the invincible Aku Aku to shave off the seconds needed to get the gold. Yeah, trying to do all that while spamming the slide spin constantly made my hands sweat a bit. It took more attempts than any other relic I've gotten so far, but I got to gold relic number 8. Level 8, Hog Ride. It's another vehicle level, this time with Crash on a motorbike, racing against cars on a freeway. Playing this right after Hang'em High was a nice way to calm down, ignoring the mini heart attack I got from only just getting first place as we crossed the finish line. Christ on a bike, that was close. Also, while going after the relic, I faced every Crash Bandicoot fan's worst nightmare in a time trial and missed out on the gold relic by less than half a bloody second. Come on, Naughty Dog, I'm practically tickling that gold relic with the end of a feather with that time. Just give it to me. So I had to play another 2 full runs until I finally got it. Gold relic number 9. Level 9, Tomb Time. Our first Ancient Egypt stage where we can't get either the box gem or the hidden gem without getting the purple gem in another level, but we can at least get the crystal and the time relic for the stage. That being said, Tomb Time took me even longer than trying to get the gold relic in Hang'em High, because god does this stage throw a lot at you. Fucking oil on the floor that, while it can increase your speed drastically if you spin slide, can lead you to your death if you're not careful. Timing your slide jumps just right to skip over the moving platforms or else you'll fall down the pits. Enemies everywhere with their own unique ways of pissing you off again and again and again, and needing the speed of invincible Aku Aku for the final stretch, so again, you can't get hit a single time. Makes for a great spot for grinding for extra lives though, spinning away all these boxes to get a shit ton of Wumpa Fruit, then activating the time trial and then dying. Not only does it not cost you a life, but you also keep any Wumpa Fruit you collected prior to starting the trial. So yeah, upside, I had a shit ton of lives by the end when I finally got the gold relic. Downside was everything else that tested my patience and thumbs. But at least with 10 relics in hand, I could now go after the yellow gem in the secret entrance of Hang'em High. I also made a bit of an arse of myself and went into Boneyard thinking I'd just got the colour gem for that level's secret route, when in actuality the colour gem I needed was red. I was tired, alright, shut up. Level 10, Midnight Run. These tiger riding levels are always a bit of a breather, and this one, while it took me a few more tries than Orient Express, both on the box gem and the time relic, this was nonetheless the relaxation I needed after the tedium of trying to get the relic in tomb time. I got the crystal and gem, beat boss 2 Dingo Dial to unlock the double jump for Crash, and then went right back to Midnight Run for gold relic number 11 once it opened back up again. Level 11, Dynamite. Ah, this was the level I mistook for needing the yellow gem for, right. As expected, it took me longer than Boneyard to complete normally, as I was going after the hidden gem and box gem in a single run, but nothing out of the ordinary for how they want you to play this level. Getting the gold relic took me about the same time as Boneyard too, my biggest issue being, again, spin sliding all over the place, being careful what's ahead when being chased by the Triceratops, and these prehistoric crash fishdicoots spinning and bouncing me backwards several times.
Get out of the way! Get out of the way! Get out of the way! I'm in a race!
Which doesn't really make sense, as I thought Crash was just a regular Bandicoot who was experimented on by Cortex, yet he has prehistoric origins that can also swim or at least bounce in tar pits. Before I did get the relic in Dynamite though, I decided to go and play one of the 2 super secret levels within a level, found in Dynamite by riding the gem platform and purposefully getting taken away by the second pterodactyl on the pathway, where instead of going to see Jesusaurus Christ, you're taken to... where instead of going to see Jesusaurus Christ, you're taken to... Level 32, Egopus Rex. This is one of the most unique stages in the game, an entirely 2D stage where you ride a baby T-Rex in a very platform-heavy climb to the top of the stage. Also, because this level's gem doesn't require any boxes to break, as there are none in this level, you could potentially go after the gem and the time relic all in one go. Which I did, but I only managed to get the sapphire relic on that run. What makes this level difficult to get the gold is that while you can absolutely get the normal sapphire one without the baby T-Rex should you get hit and lose him, said T-Rex is a necessity to hold on to throughout the entire stage in order to get the gold. For comparison, imagine playing one of the scuba diving levels, but you had to hold on to the jet ski throughout the entire stage. That's what they're asking of you here. Mercifully, the stage isn't that long, so while it certainly took me a few tries, it was nothing taxing in the slightest. I got my 12th gold relic and then went back and got the 13th one from Dynamite, as previously mentioned. Level 12, Deep Trouble. Speaking of scuba diving, the second and last one in the game is more or less the same when it comes to getting the gems and the relic. Only difference now is needing to activate this exclamation box at the very end of the level, backtracking to this passageway that you could now use the TNT crate to get into, and finally being able to go for the box gem and hidden red gem on this new route. Getting the relic for this level was quite the roller coaster because while I had yet another instance of missing out on the gold relic by less than a fucking second, I shit you not, on my next attempt I went one step beyond and got a platinum relic by complete accident. That was certainly invigorating. I'm starting to think this challenge might actually be doable because if you look there, so there's like 12 crystals. The only powers that I've got are the super belly flop and the double jump so far, right? And I've managed to get 16 out of 43 gems, and I have now 14 gold, well 13 gold and 1 platinum relics, just from trying to complete them without using the crash dash. Look them up again. Those are the only 2 power-ups I have. No crash dash. Got all those gems so far, and I have 14 relics so far. What the hell? Level 13, High Time. This was my first roadblock, as while I got the crystal, box gem and hidden purple gem in one run, getting the gold relic was just not possible with the power-ups I had at the time. On top of the issues that come from the Arabian levels, as I mentioned with Hang'em High, there's now these dickheads activating fire pits that I feel last an eternity as they block your path. Sure, you could try to slide spin jump around them, but that doesn't negate the amount of them you'll run into. When I got the sapphire relic and saw that I was a good 12 seconds off the gold relic time when I was playing at my absolute best, Yeah, I was gonna have to come back later when I got the Death Tornado spin. It's not gold yet, but it's my 15th relic regardless. With the purple gem though, I cheered myself up by going after the hidden gem and box gem in Tomb Time. After that, with the 15 relics in my possession, I could now play the third secret stage. Level 28, Area 51? A bike level where you're racing against alien spaceships on an unlit road where you can vaguely see what corners or obstacles are ahead. This was one of the levels I dreaded playing when I started this challenge. With the unpredictability of what's ahead and the thought of needing to play through this as quickly as possible in order to get the time relic, it made me shudder. And yet, I only had to play this stage 3 times. Once to get the gem for winning the race, first try, once to get the box gem, first try, and once more to get the now 16th gold relic on my first try. The time requirements were very generous, and as scary as it may seem to be racing on an unlit road, you're given just enough draw distance to plan your next move and still get first place, even if you make a couple of mistakes. Cheers, Area 51, you were an easy breather in this challenge. I now see why people wanted to break into you all those years ago. Level 14, Road Crash. Despite giving me another mini heart attack when I once again only just managed to win the race when crossing the finish line. Stop doing this to me, game, please! Getting the gem and then the gold relic was once again a breeze, so nothing new to add. Other than this level being another entrance to a super secret level, accessed by crashing into this alien sign in the road. Level 31, Hot Coco. I hate this level. Interestingly, it's the polar opposite to Egopus Rex, where instead of a completely linear 2D plane, we have a 3D level that is non-linear. The only non-linear stage of the entire game, as a matter of fact. And so, combined with my growing agitation towards the jet ski controls and the level's physics, this is my least favourite level of the entire game. Because there's no real set path, and if you're not careful with the checkpoint boxes, you could potentially break dozens of boxes in a row, scavenge the entire level for that one box you missed, only to be hit by a bomb because your turning just wasn't good enough, and you have to do that all over again. And the thought of having to figure out a route for the time relic by myself, just no. So I looked up on YouTube for any plans for getting the relic, and I stumbled across this video showing an exploit to getting a super fast relic time, timing the waves to jump over the nitro boxes blocking the exit after grabbing the clock. So I spent the next 20 or so minutes doing nothing but trying to get the relic via this ridiculously lucky exploit, and in all honesty, while the music did get on my nerves a little bit so I had to turn the volume off, when I finally got the platinum relic from using this exploit, I felt a genuine sense of accomplishment. And personally, I would have rather done all that again than trying to get the relic in Hot Coco legitimately. Once I did that, I went back and got the box gem, as slow and tedious as it was, and moved on back to the regular levels. Level 15, Double Header. The last medieval stage in the game, and as to be expected, it's a walk in the park to complete. The only thing that got in my way was missing 2 boxes at the end of the stage, and rather than trying the entire stage out again, I backtracked throughout the entire level just to find out that I missed 2 TNT boxes. That's weird, how did I miss them? Anyways, once I beat the level with the crystal, I beat boss 3, n.tropy, to get the Death Tornado spin, went back and got gold relic number 19 in Double Header, which was no issue whatsoever, and then spent another 23 minutes trying to get the gold relic in high time. And let me tell you, the agony I endured for several minutes, getting closer and closer to that gold relic timestamp only to get Sapphire or die right at the very fucking end of the stage, while constantly slide spinning and trying not to mistime my jumps because of it, while making sure I didn't get hit a single time. Holy shit, it was ridiculous. So I cheered myself up with a spot of gem hunting, going after the hidden gem in Boneyard. Okay, level 16, Sphinxinator. I made a bit of an ass of myself in this level. I took the left route thinking there would be boxes to break for the gem, but it turned out to be a route for extra lives that, because I hit a checkpoint box and realised I would have to backtrack throughout the entire other route to break the boxes I missed, thought about it, said fuck that, completed the level with the crystal, and then played it again going the right way for the box gem. The hidden one being locked behind needing the blue gem from another level, so I'll come back for that later. Also, I realised I'll need the Fruit Bazooka power-up from Boss 4 in order to get the best time for the time relic, so I'll come back for that later too. Level 17. Blimps. Our first plane stage. Gunning down blimps while keeping an eye on your health as you're shot at by enemy planes, and shooting down boxes held up by balloons. Getting the crystal and gem in this was a cakewalk, as to be expected. Not only because this was a vehicle level without a dash, but because none of the boxes in these levels turn into time crates, so the requirements for the relics are very generous, so long as you know what's the fastest order to shoot down the blimps. Only took me 4 very short attempts to get it right, but I got gold relic number 20. Level 29, the secret entrance to Future Frenzy. Originally a level you'd think you'd have to wait until the post-game to get both the box gem and the hidden gem on, now we can get both them and the crystal all in a row. Doesn't make the experience any less exhausting though, because my god the tedium of going through the entire alternate route for Future Frenzy, rejoining the normal route and having to backtrack to what feels like the very start of the level itself, while making sure you don't die, otherwise you'll have to go back again to get the boxes that aren't broken until you can secure yourself with another checkpoint box when you go all the way along the normal route to where you just joined. I honestly find this more egregious than Cold Hard Crash in Crash Bandicoot 2. It's like one wrong move on these moving floors, or I so much as stub my toe on these fast flashing lasers, is another tricky pixel perfect run back and forth throughout the stage where going back against the camera really does you no favours. I am glad I could get the gem and crystals all in one go, but fuck is it no less stressful. Level 18, Tell No Tales. I needed a break from Future Frenzy before getting its relic, so I decided to get the last jet ski level with Coco out of the way. By this point I'd become adjusted to the jet ski's awkward controls and the wave's physics, so getting all the collectibles was just routine. First time with the crystal and box gem, and the standard attempts for getting my 21st gold relic. Getting the gold relic for Future Frenzy. Fuck this part! On top of the reoccurring problems I've had to face in other regular stages with making sure I don't get hit so I can use the invincible Aku Aku mask around the timings of those godforsaken lasers, and the patterns of the enemies who just love to snag you if you're not too careful with where you slide, spin and slide jump, you're also committing yourself to such a long level that feels like it lasts an episode's length of Stranger Things. There was nothing more soul-crushing than getting to the very end of the level, only to fuck up because I mistimed one minuscule movement that booted me all the way back to the beginning. Which, when you start failing on the beginning section a lot more, man almighty! It took me nearly half an hour to get the gold relic with just these bare essentials and no crash dash. No crash dash! I kid you not, when I finally got my now 22nd gold relic, god, I felt like shedding a tear, genuinely. Level 20, Tomb Wader. Luckily this level gave me a sense of relief. Just reach the death route without dying to go and get the blue gem, die on that route and then return to the normal one to collect the crystal and box gem. After that was a quick fight against boss 4, n.gin, and unlocking my final power up before the crash dash, the Fruit Bazooka. Returning to Sphinxinator with the blue gem, allowing me access to the secret route, I got the hidden gem with relative ease. As previously mentioned, I could now walk back and use the Fruit Bazooka to hit the clock from a distance, so I could activate these now time crates that are a huge saver for your run. Then, on my 8th try, where I actually got the furthest I'd gotten to that point in the stage, I accidentally jumped on the blue gem platform as it took me to the secret route while I couldn't get off. Then I thought, you know what, the secret route is nothing but slippery oil on the ground, I could just slide spin my way to the end and still get the relic, right? So I reached the secret route, shifted into 3rd gear and...
Bandicoot!
Boom. Gold relic number 23 in the bag. Didn't mean to do it that way, but who cares, it worked, and we're moving on. Returning to Tomb Wader, the massive time stipulation for the relic made me very nervous thinking about how much I would have to slide spin through the level and time that with the rising and falling water which can murder any sense of momentum you have, while making sure not to get bumped back by these annoying pricks.
Move! Move!
It didn't take as long as stages like High Time or anything like that, but even with being able to cut corners if you time your Death Tornado spinning glides just right to avoid drowning in the water, it can be a test of your patience without the crash dash. But it is possible, so within minutes I soon had my 24th gold relic, and just like that we're down to the very last stages. 5 crystals and 10 gems remaining. I made sure to plan the game would indeed register my 44 out of 44 gems by leaving level 22 Orange Asphalt for last. You'll see why in a bit. Level 24, Mad Bombers. I pretty much played this level so I could get my hands on the 25th gold relic to unlock the final secret level as soon as possible, which was a tad trickier, now needing to be more precise with shooting down the enemy plane's engines individually, but like with Bye Bye Blimps, didn't take me long at all thanks to the generous time requirements. And just like that, bada bing bada boom, the final secret area was unlocked. Level 30, Rings of Power. Another flying level, only instead of shooting down other planes, you're in a race where you have to guide your plane through 30 rings. Oh, I get it. In order to keep your booster going as you barrel roll through them. This was yet another level I was dreading to play, and the very awkward steering when you're flying at full speed played into that anxiety. But like with Area 51, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Getting the gem for coming in first place and the box gem in separate attempts was fun. Before I knew it, I was in the time trial and the next gold relic was mine. And thus, I was done with levels 26 to 30 in Crash Bandicoot 3 without the crash dash. Not that it was ever needed for any of these extra levels, mind you, but I was still able to access them without the dash regardless. It's possible, guys. It seems like it may be possible to complete Crash Bandicoot 3, get all of the gems. I mean, obviously I won't be able to get the hidden gem from Coco, but because that's like hidden, it doesn't count towards the tally. Tomorrow I'm going to tick off that 44 and prove that it is possible to complete Crash Bandicoot 3 without the crash dash. Whether or not I'll skip the bad ending and go straight to the good ending, we'll just have to find out. Level 23, Flaming Passion. I essentially went for this level next because the green gem was the last colour gem I needed, and because I wanted to get the relic in the last Arabian level out of the way. And thank the Lord, with all the power-ups at my beck and call at this point in the game, this was the easiest Arabian level to get the golden relic for. Also because at this point I had become well accustomed to my trusty slide spin, at the cost of my thumbs. There was yet another instance of me being 1 second away from gold. Every bloody time, I swear to Christ. But on my next attempt, that gold relic was achieved with ease. Level 21, Gone Tomorrow. Thanks to getting the green gem from Flaming Passion, I was able to get this level's crystal and both gems all in one go, which is always a blessing. My PTSD from Future Frenzy severely kicked in when I began this time trial, but no kidding, what took me 28 minutes to get the gold relic in that stage took me a much faster 5 minutes to obtain here in Gone Tomorrow, all just by slide spinning and doing the usual cutting corners with a double jump and death tornado spin. I honestly could not believe my luck at this point. I guess the trauma of Future Frenzy helped me out more than I thought. Crash Bandicoot 3. Bring out your gamer skills with a gun to your back. Level 25, Bug Light. After travelling through the secret route that utilises every single colour gem in the game, each gem acting as a different platform, I got the hidden gem, died, made my way back to the normal route, and got the box gem and crystal. Only reason it took me longer than normal was trying to figure out my way around the bonus level with the stage's gimmick of limited light sources from these fireflies. That's about it. Thankfully, because the gimmick encourages you not to dawdle throughout the stage, slide spinning my way to achieve the relic was easy. There was an admittedly hilarious moment on one of my first tries where I was at the very end of the stage, but I mistimed a slide spin, hit the nitro crate and died. The level exit even lit up just as I died, just to take the piss. I couldn't not laugh at that. Other than that, it was plain sailing to get the last gold relic I would be able to collect before the final boss. Level 22, Orange Asphalt. So, to bring up my plan I mentioned earlier, I was going to wait at the start line for all the other racers in this motorbike level to get ahead, so I could go and collect the final box gem without any chances of getting first place to get the crystal. This was so I would be absolutely certain the game would register my 44 out of 44 gems before unlocking the final boss. I am very lucky there was a level that could let me do this without having to figure out some method of dancing around the crystals in the regular levels, if you get me. So I got the 44th gem while avoiding the crystal, saved the game to double ensure the game would register me getting all the gems, and finally went after the crystal, upon which the moment of truth happened. Okay, so, about to get the 25th crystal, all power-ups except the crash dash, no crash dash whatsoever, got all of the gems, they're all there, safe and snug. 29 out of 30 relics, obviously I won't be able to get the last one, but I think the 44 gems will still count towards the completion. So, this is the moment. Get in the crystal. The final crystal before the final boss. Just gonna do a quick saving the game. What do I call it? Do. Just gonna call it that. Right, so final boss time. Now this is the moment of truth. Will it give me the good ending or the bad ending? Please give me the good ending. Please give me the good ending. I beg of you, please. Please, please give me the good ending. Please. Please. I'm begging you. No. Oh. It's gonna be the bad one, isn't it? Yep, just like Crash Bandicoot 2, the bad ending is unavoidable. I did have my concerns going in when, no kidding, my friend Harry messaged me saying how he once tried a glitch run to get everything in one go, and still had to play the bad ending, but I was naive and thought it was down to it being a glitch run. Surely if you went out of your way to get everything in the game before the final boss fair and square, then they'd just have to throw you a bone. They'd just have to, right? Nope. You fight Uka Uka and Neo Cortex, and watch that very cutscene I dreaded seeing throughout this whole challenge. Pretty sure it's giving me the bad ending because of the cutscene before it. Yeah. It really isn't, Cortex. But I got him! I should have fucking triumphed you, you evil mask. Oh well. At least I've got the footage to say that I got the gems legitimately. So, once the credits rolled and my save file refused to move beyond 99%, I knew that in order to get 100%, I'd have to get that one final relic. While yes, I now had the Crash Dash power-up, which kind of negates what I set out to do, that's another reason I chose to do Orange Asphalt as my final level for the game, to ensure the final stage I played for a relic would not allow me access to the Crash Dash whatsoever. And look at that, it just so happened that my first attempt at a time relic got me my final gold relic. So, with 25 crystals and 30 gold time relics that allowed me to get the final 45th secret gem from Coco, boosting my score up to 105%, as the fireworks erupted across the screen, I went and beat the final boss again while keeping my finger solely off the dash button throughout the whole fight, and as I saw the good ending playing out before my eyes, my feelings of annoyance and exhaustion turned into satisfaction, as while I physically couldn't avoid the bad ending, I proved to myself, and to all of you watching this video right now, that it is indeed possible to beat Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped without the Crash Dash. It is a shame I couldn't skip the bad ending, but at least I can assume the same thing would happen in the Insane Trilogy version of Crash 3, so I've no need to do it again on that version just to prove anything. Nor do I want to, being honest, because this challenge was fun, but bloody exhausting and tedious in so many places. The very thought of doing these stages again for the time trial without the Crash Dash, sometimes in levels that are even harder than the original because of the control differences in the Insane Trilogy, the jet ski especially. Get out of here, I'm not doing that. I proved my point, I'm tired, and I need to go to sleep. Hey there everybody, just before the video ends, I want to state just one more thing. So Some Call Me Johnny isn't the only thing that inspired me to cover Crash Bandicoot a lot on this channel in this video. There's another content creator who has heavily inspired me, not only for, you know, covering something Crash related, but he also inspires me humour wise and when it comes to video editing in general, and that's Cadicarus. He is a huge fan of Crash Bandicoot, and he tries every year to dedicate an entire month to Crash Bandicoot, June Bandicoot month, and I know like that the running joke is that every month is Bandicoot month because there's always something that delays him, but I want to talk specifically about that because last year was a particularly shit year for him. not just with like the daily struggles of like doing full-time YouTube content creation, but his partner Keris was also battling cancer, and I can't comprehend the severity of the emotions of somebody battling that, and my heart definitely went out to both her and Caddy during that time. But things are looking on the up and up now. Keris is cancer free, which is bloody spectacular, absolutely. And it means that both she and Caddy can go into this new year of 2025 with a bit more weight off their shoulders, definitely. So, to Caddy and Keris, if you are watching this, Keris, congratulations on beating cancer. Again, I can't imagine the severity of how hard that the battle was, but you fought well, and everybody's proud of you. And Caddy, thank you for being a massive inspiration to me and to many of your other fans. And I hope that 2025 is the breather that you absolutely deserve.